Hi, I am Monica Brandt, one of the world's first true fitness pioneers starting back in 1991. I helped launch the fitness industry while traveling internationally, meeting fans worldwide to share my style of fitness to the bodybuilding community. After a decade of fitness competitions, I earned one of the world's most prestigious titles, the IFBB Fitness Olympia Championships. Moving into the new millennium, I was the first IFBB Fitness Olympia athlete to transition into the new professional figure division and compete for close to another 20 years. After 15 years as an IFBB professional, I tried another organization and won the WBFF World Pro Figure Championships both 2010 and 2013. I am a true athlete and made my way into racing into the Masters USATF sprint events, placing top 3 at the World's Masters track meet in all 3 events, the 100, 200, and 400 meter races. Besides athletics, I have been honored with over 100 magazine covers both nationally and internationally. Since it's always a blessing to share with others, over the last 15 years, I've hosted women's fitness events and worked with the clients, helping them discover how to live radiantly in all areas of life, body, mind, soul, and spirit. The Monica Brandt Show is one of the ways I am honoring the legendary athletes, powerhouse individuals, and nutrition gurus that have laid a strong foundation in the past, help keep the current industry flowing, and offer inspiration to the next generations. Hello. Hey, pretty girl.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, everyone. I'm Monica Brandt. Welcome and thank you for joining the Monica Brandt Show tonight. We have a very fun hour ahead of us, and I am here tonight co-hosted with Miss Sarah Lyons, a beautiful Sarah Lyons, my very dear friend and amazing photographer. And I'm so excited to have you on, Sarah. How are you?
So excited to be here with you, Monica, just to sit next to you and be a part of your adventure here. It's going to be so much fun. And our guest, I can't believe.
I know, right? Okay, so it's so cute how you said sit next to you, because we do look like we're sitting next to each other. But anyways, and just a short few little bit, you're going to be here in Texas, so I can't wait. We talk about that later. But anyways, we have a very special guest on tonight. So you guys, when you're logging in, I see some names I recognize. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining, sweetheart. Hello, Ruben. Nice to see you. Hi, Mike. You guys, when you're joining in, please tell us where you're joining in from and let us know. Yeah, because we can see what part of the world you're in, because I'm here in Texas and Sarah's in Arizona.
Yeah, where it's really hot.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking of hot, let's talk about our guest tonight. We have a very hot man coming in. to speak with us. I'm so excited. You know,
Yeah,
I was trying to figure out how to introduce this guy because he's been across the board with, he's done everything, like everything that you could possibly do, he's done. And he's, of course, and then he's such a good friend of mine for so many years, and he's a comedian and he's super fun. And I know he has a lot to share with us, but we were trying to come up with a good name for him. And Brad came up with, let's see if I can say it right, photographer-newer. I mean, that's photographer and entrepreneur, but I mean, this guy's he's been on the SWAT team. He's Canadian. He's American. He's a husband. I almost said he's a wife, but he's not a wife. He has a wife.
I draw the line there.
He has children. He's got a very, very special story to share with us tonight. This guy's a writer. He's an amazing photographer, and he does video blogs. And I mean, this guy has done everything across the board. So without further ado, let's bring in Terry. And I just have to give a quick shout out. Thank you to our sponsors, and also my glam artist Barbara, who was here today doing my glam for me. So I have to say a little shout out to her. And without any further ado, let's bring Mr. Terry Goodlad in.
Hi, welcome to my vlog. I'm Terry Goodlad. This is my wife Anna Tigre, and we live in Las Vegas, where we raise our 3 amazing little toddlers and 2 fluffy white dogs. I'm a photographer, writer, videographer, vlogger, and I like hanging out with my close friends, riding my Harley, and being outside and staying in shape so I can truly live life with the incredible family and God who blessed me with. I love taking beautiful pictures, traveling, and telling stories about special moments with interesting people, interesting places, and things. So this is my vlog and our life. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And that is correct. It's going to be a lot of fun. I just want to give a little shout out here. We've got some people from Georgia, North Carolina, Austin, people in the house, Massachusetts in the house. So Terry, hello.
Hi, girls. This is I haven't kept this kind of company for a while. You guys are amazing. Look at you two.
Well, come on now. You're being awfully sweet because you have an amazingly beautiful wife there in your home. And of course, Elaine's there on and off too. And then, I mean, you're surrounded by beauty all the time. So thank you, making us blush.
You guys look pretty amazing. That's and of course, I mean, both of you. I've shot both of you. Even though Sarah's a photographer, we met when you were a model.
Yeah, in 2004, and we photographed twice together. Once by myself, and then once with my best friend Amanda, who will be tuning in at some point, I think. But yeah, I mean, I just adore you, Terry. I think that.
Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I really, really appreciate both you guys. And Monica, you really gave me a start in the industry when way back when I was just getting underway. You were you gave me permission to shoot Monica Brandt, and and it was it really opened a lot of doors for me. So a lot of my success in my career I can thank you for. So this is great. It's great to see you girls. Great to talk to you guys.
You know, that first photo shoot, I was looking at the pictures just recently. I know that was in Vegas. It was after the Olympia, or it was during the Olympia. I don't remember, one of the two. And I think it was about 2001.
Yeah,
I believe.
I mean, you think about it, and we were at the Mandalay Bay, and we had our own pool. Because you knew somebody that, and so we had a whole pool to ourselves. The sun was going down, reflecting off the gold windows of the Mandalay Bay. It couldn't have been more perfect. And we had I had an awesome day. It was so much fun. It was fun.
We did a bunch of shots there. I mean, there's like so many different series. I need to share them across some time because, you know, your work has, I mean, those were good pics, but where your photography has gone to now, like, It's just amazing. And one of the things that I love about you, Terry, is every time I've shot with you over the last, I don't know how many years now, you have a way of directing and bringing out this different emotion, whether it's, this sultry or inner beauty that just can radiate. Like, you just have a way of bringing out these different looks and emotions out of people, and not just me, but with people. And like you always say, to tell a story. And so, with your background and your love of writing, you also are able to do that through your photography. It's really special. I hear a phone. I hear phones. Well, we are live. It's all okay. It's all okay.
Thank you very much. It was always my thing, and I see this, just in Sarah's work, because I've been a fan of her work since she started, and there's an ease there, and when you have something that is that easy and that comfortable, when a model is that comfortable, it flows a lot better and you get better shots. And for me, being a guy, I think there's an extra layer of complexity to that. And I always wanted to shoot personalities more so than an object, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You can work the emotions inside the people.
Yeah.
And I remember that about you. We did this one scene in your house, and it was like this sunset scene, and it was like this, I had this brown lingerie, like brown and pink lingerie outfit, and there was this like sunset streak just going across me. And I think that only you could capture that, because you had that vision in your mind. And so you've inspired me a lot in what I do with my work. Creating the entire mood, creating the entire vibe of you're creating the shot. You're not just taking a picture, you're creating the shot.
And I think, photographers in the fitness industry, I learned this the hard way, because I was a friend with a lot of them until I became a photographer, and then that very quickly switched. And there's always seems to be a lot of tension between photographers, and very territorial and like that. And there was a guy by the name of Kevin Horton, and Monica, Kevin, and I think probably you do too, Sarah, but Kevin's an amazing photographer. He's very organic, but he's also very technical. And he was actually one of my mentors. His belief is that, Terry, you can take the same model, the same lighting setup, same everything, same camera, take it. I'll just hand my camera to you. You take the picture, and they're going to be still two different pictures. He said, it's an art form, and you can't be what somebody else is. And he said, so you're no threat to me. He says, you could be, just as busy as I am. And he says, you're no threat to me because you still can't do what I do. And that really, really stuck with me. I've always been a guy that wants to help other people out, but I find inspiration from other photographers. Do I feel intimidated? No. I can't do what somebody else does. But I look at Sarah's work, and there's a real signature to it that, I'm interviewing you now, but
stop it.
Well, the thing is that, there's being a model and then being a photographer, there's just things that you see. And so I'm very, very inspired by the work of other photographers, and I have no hesitation, sharing what I know, because I'm going to learn from them as well. And it's an art form, and it's how you see things, and it's very, very personal. And like with you, Sarah, when you came, there was just, for me, there was a connection there, and it was an ease. With Monica, of course, at first I was shooting Monica Brandt, right? So it's like you feel so unprepared, right? And then as the friendship grew, and and the friendship grew, and like a love developed, a close friendship developed there, and now it's just, I see what's in your heart, Mo, and I see all of it. I see the different stages, going through different things and like that. And there's beauty to be found in all of that. And so what I try to do is make that connection first before I ever pick up a camera, is just spend the time making that connection first. And both of you girls it's just such a treat to work with both of you,
Do you remember, Terry, I know you do, there was a shoot we did in Austin, and Elaine was there, and we were laughing and laughing, and you had me in this like door frame. And remember, I had the blue turquoise nails on my toes, which I hadn't removed. I'd forgotten to remove it. A big no for models. But you were so funny because you kept trying to draw this like, just think about something that, the guy's leaving and you're really emotional about it. And me and Elaine were busting out laughing, and you were trying to control us, and it just wasn't working very well. But you still got the great shots, and you still I see the pictures and I still giggle because I'm like, I know that when I'm, all modeled and like, looking down and all sincere or whatever, and then all of a sudden inside of me, I'm like giggling inside of me, and I still remember that shoot where I was just laughing inside and trying to hold the facial expression that you were asking me to bring to the plate.
Yeah, wasn't that that was the flex layout, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
some beautiful pictures from there.
I loved those days, like working for all the magazines. I really enjoyed it. The problem, and this is, I think, every commercial photographer can identify with this, is, you start in this industry and you just want to get a shot published, right? And then that happens. But then it's basically you're doing whatever you want to do. The more success you have, the more you get recognized for your work, the more you get published, the more restrictions are placed on you, really, where they want you to go out and be free, but do it this way, And so, they want a certain kind of a picture. I prefer to shoot organically what's there. And truthfully, now that I'm retired from the magazine work and now publishing my own magazine and doing stuff for my own stuff, I'm enjoying it so much more than I did at the pinnacle of my career, because, I'm the guy that decides what I'm shooting. And so it's just so much more fun, because it's just very organic. It's very real. And this is the thing, if when I'm working with a model, I try to get her in a place where she's actually feeling something, because then it's genuine. And one of the bigger struggles is, models that have shot a lot before, they have their go-to stuff, right? And so they have their go-to looks, their go-to poses, and going beyond that is an uncomfortable thing sometimes for them. And I know you and I, I've done that to you a few times, and you used to fight it at first, and then
never.
You don't. Yeah, exactly. Never. But then you gave into it, and I just, as a model, I'm sure that's got to be a very uncomfortable thing, because when you take those pictures, you have no control over what happens to those pictures and where they go, and so you want them to be good, right?
Right.
And
well,
so
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Part of that whole trust thing, right? And
right.
Developing that.
I think one of my favorite shoots was the road shots where I had the pink high heels on and the jeans and the black top, and cars are going by, and we're just out on that beautiful little area of the desert and the lonely little strip of road, and putting powder in my high heels. I mean, that was such a fun shoot. I mean, I love all of the shoots. We've done so many different things, but that was a really, I don't know, just something about that feel and that look and that timing of our lives. And it might make me choke up a little, but I can't because I got this makeup. It was a really fun time. But okay, so you mentioned something that made me remember. I haven't given out the giveaway questions yet, so I want to do that real quick, and then I want to come back and just talk about your past and how you got into what you're doing now, and we'll talk about that. So my two questions, everybody. There's two questions, giveaways from Egg White International and then Legendary Foods, two sponsors here, and whoever comes up with the answers first, and I've got someone that's going to be Mr. Kona over here watching for the answers. Whoever comes up with the answer first wins the giveaway. So this first question is for the Egg White International giveaway. What was the name of Terry's first magazine? Ooh, okay. And then the second question, what is the name of Terry's current blog website, current blog website? So Who comes up with these 2 answers, Egg White International, just post it in the comments, please. Don't direct message me, please. Post them in the comments here because I won't see direct messaging. And then Terry, I just don't, without giving the answer away, because sometimes when you're thinking about stuff, but when I first met you and Elaine, and I remember we were there at the Emerald Cup and I asked Elaine, like, how do you get on the cover? And I was just joking around about it, right? And she goes, well, I don't know, but I slept with him and I slept with the magazine owner. And I was like, oh boy. So that was my first interaction with you guys and just how much fun, both of you have that great sense of humor and really just making people feel at home. And of course, you have such a diverse group of people in your home right now. That's so cool. But I want to just kind of take it back to, how'd you get from Canada? How did you grow up a little? Let's share. I want people to hear a little bit about your background because you're not just this photographer. You have such a deep background.
Well, all the way back, I was raised in northern Saskatchewan in Canada, and wow. I'll sort of jet ahead to,
back
when I was a little bit older.
1940.
Yeah, back in 42. I was born in 1959. My mom was very young, and she didn't know who my biological father was, and so you can fill in the dots from there. And so for a time I lived with my grandparents, and then my mom married Ralph Goodlad, who later adopted me, and that's why the name Goodlad. And they were kind of interesting. They lived an interesting life. Long story short, my mom went when I was young. She went for 3 months of drug rehab. She was an addict. I was an only child at that time. A lot of my friends weren't allowed to play with me because my mom was a divorcee. It was that in the early 60s. It was that, and so, I kind of grew up on my own. There were times when literally I was a young little kid and I had a rifle and I went hunting for my food because if I didn't, there was no food to eat and things like that. So that's kind of where I came from. And then I kind of went the wrong direction, and I was using drugs, drank. This is in grade 10, right? And I broke into houses and broke into cars and did stuff like that. And then I got into playing football, and my football coach was a thug. He ran the north end of our city, and it was a tough school that I went to, but he was the first real father figure that was there that really took an interest in me, and he turned my life around. And so I went from that, I had, there's physical abuse, sexual abuse, there's all that kind of stuff growing up. And so at 15, I moved out on my own, spent $100, bought a car. I didn't have a driver's license, but I bought a car for $100 and got a job delivering pizza. And my rent was $17 a month, and I shared a bathroom down the hall. It was one of those kind of places.
$17 a month.
I know, right? Mrs. Jabrowski, that was the lady's name that rented me the room, if you can believe that. And so anyway, and then so I finished up high school, barely got through high school. Later on, I changed my life around. I became a cop. Really, really enjoyed that career. Got onto SWAT, which was my favorite part about being a police officer. And then later got into business, and I left police work and sort of got into business and did all that. So my first business was a store selling fitness wear and supplements and stuff like that. But at that time, there were no suppliers in Canada. So I went and bought a sewing machine and a serger, and I sewed all the clothes myself. I did everything myself because how hard can it be, right? Somebody else does it, I can do it. And so I did that. That business was actually very successful. We sold that, and we also had a hair salon in the same building. And then
that's what happened to your hair.
That's what happened to the hair. and so we.
That's why you got out of that.
Yeah, exactly. We moved from there out to Western Canada and owned a gym out there and got, we became contest promoters. I was a really skinny kid growing up, and I was always into bodybuilding. And then I got into powerlifting, competitive powerlifting. I had a record in Canada that wasn't a Canadian national record, but it was a record, and it held for like 12 years or something like that. And in the squat. And then I got into bodybuilding, wasn't nuts about bodybuilding, got out of that. Long story short, we owned this gym. And at one point, and I won't say the year because that's when I published my first /magazine /website. But I just decided on a Friday that I was going to start. I decided I wanted to be a writer. Here's the story. I owned my gym. I had been the president of a Canadian supplement company, and they were a publicly owned company, and done all these things, and none of it was really getting my button. So I came home. I took a job making $10 an hour, guarding federal inmates on release, baking for them, making sure they didn't run away or kill anybody, and just spent 4 months from 1 a.m. till 9 a.m. just thinking about what I wanted to do with my life. I decided I wanted to be a writer and a photographer. So I came home, I wrote an article. I ride motorcycles. So I wrote an article, submitted it to a magazine. They rejected it. And I said, well, to heck with you. I'll just start my own thing. So I did. So on Friday night, I started learning Photoshop, and I think it was called Front Page. And on Sunday night, I launched the website. And that was the beginning. And that website eventually, it turned into, I was the only guy really at that time that covered women's fitness. And when you were competing, Mo, when you won the Olympia and like that, I was covering, it was a couple of years after that, but I was covering, the only guy really that covered the women. And at one point we had 1 million unique visitors a month. Our podcast had 50,000 downloads a month. Wow. So and then I started working for all the magazines. And that was the thing, is because of that website /magazine, because it was a print magazine for a while, because of that, I was offered opportunities with all of the other publications because they had seen my work and been following it for a long time. And so everything, I did that for years. And so I worked with, Oxygen. Bob Kennedy had Oxygen magazine, Muscle Mag, American Curves. He had 6 publications, right? And so I did a lot of work for Bob. I worked for Weir with Flex, Muscle&Fitness Hers. Did a little bit for MD, and a bunch of other magazines. And so started doing that. And then I just moved to the U.S., and I'm really giving you the Reader's Digest version here. Moved to the U.S., and that's when my career really took off, and then just became one of the top guys in the world in the fitness industry. I covered all of the IFBB Pro shows and NPC shows for Oxygen for like 15 years, and loved that.
Yeah,
so
I remember.
I was contracted with Weeder for many years as well, and just really, really loved doing that. And then, what happens is you try to get something published, and you get there, and then they kind of give you a regular gig. Like I had a column in one magazine, and I had a section of Flex magazine was my section, and shot lots of covers, lots of training layouts, did all that stuff. And then, usually at that point, supplement companies start to work with you. So I did that for a while. And then I kind of retired from the whole industry and just went off and started doing my own things. So I loved the photography part. I'll be really honest with you. I stopped enjoying it the more, like I was explaining earlier, the more success you have, the more people want to control that success. And so it's really not your work. Everybody's telling you how you have to shoot something, but it's your job to shoot it, but you got to shoot it their way, not your way. And so they hire you because they like your work, but then then you've got some guy that's like, I remember the last commercial job that I did was for, it's a household name. I won't say the name, but it's a household name basketball star known globally. This guy's like, it's not Michael Jordan, but it's, like that well known. It was his branding company for another athlete. And it was 2 weeks of meetings where I was being told what to do, but nobody took responsibility. And then I'm supposed to show up there. So they're telling me how I'm supposed to do it, but not telling me what I'm supposed to do, because they don't want to lose their job. So if it works out well, they'll get the pat on the back. But if it works out poorly, it falls on me. And then afterwards, it worked out really, really well, and they were thrilled with the pictures. But it was just, it just convinced, okay, that's it, I'm done. And I just retired from commercial photography and just started doing my own thing. And since then, I've just reinvented my own work. Because when you get there to that point, everything almost becomes formulaic because they see what you did and it's like, okay, do that, right? But do that and do it this way. And so it stopped being fun for me. And now I'm having a blast again with photography. I'm just loving it, because I can do what I want to do now. You know what I mean? And so I can experiment and try new things and mess up and start all over again. And I'm just having the time of my life. And there's a handful of models that I work with that tolerate all my shenanigans and pranks and jokes and moods and all like that. And I'm just having a blast. And so that's what prompted me to launch my latest publication that I just put out a week ago. Is modelbody.com. And it's just I'm just having fun with my work and putting it out there. And I think the digital magazine print is kind of dead now, but digital magazines aren't, and they're getting more and more popular all the time. And I think it's just about context. You can put pictures on Instagram, but it's a different context when it's in a magazine because you can shape a story around the image, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I'm curious what your thoughts are about the loss of real tangible covers, because Sarah and I have talked about this before, and it's sad that the magazines are going away. I get it. I understand, the whole concept of the payments and, the advertising and digital. But it's really sad that, magazine covers aren't going to be like this behind me as much anymore.
Yeah. I think we lose something in that because there was a certain amount of prestige to being on a magazine cover. I mean, Oxygen only had 12 of those a year, and so to be chosen for that was pretty big. To be chosen to be a photographer to shoot something like that is a big deal. And so I think something is lost there for us. And I think there's something lost there for the models that's a tremendous amount of validation for your hard work and everything that you've done, as you know. I think, there's another perspective from being inside of the magazine side of it, both as a publisher and working for other magazines. The reality is that, it's like all things. When you think you have something that's going to last forever, you'll soon be reminded that you're wrong. And that everybody was so arrogant about print because print was so much more prestigious than the internet. Nobody had a vision for the internet. I think there's one publisher, Steve Bleckman was the one guy over at MD that really learned how to monetize the internet without cannibalizing the magazine. He learned how to use the two together, but nobody else got that. And, I was on the internet, Sean Perrine, now the late Sean Perrine now, but, Sean and I came from the internet and got into the magazine side. And it's just, I understand why it happened. And it was more, in my opinion, it was about just not evolving, sticking to a formula and just never evolving, and you just become a dinosaur, and it went away, and now it's too late. The other issue with magazines is distribution. With a digital magazine, instantly you're global. Right. With our publication, it's been out a week, and I don't want to give you a number, but it's like over 20 countries that magazine's been viewed at already, and in a print magazine, you can't do that. The distribution, magazine print distribution is controlled by the distributor. You can't, you have to trust them, and you have to trust that they're placing it properly, that it's getting seen. With a digital magazine, you can control who sees it. And here's the reality. The number of people that would see an Oxygen cover, for instance, doesn't even come close to the number of people that are going to see something that is on the internet. Right. And I'm proof of that, because when I had that website/magazine, and we were huge. I mean, we had, 1 million people are seeing a story about Monica Brandt on there, on, even at your best like Muscle&Fitness, at that time, their real actual circulation wasn't anywhere close to that, and so that's the thing. It's a prestigious thing, but for a tool that actually gives you effective branding, where you can actually put that message out there to a broader scope, the internet doesn't, it's light years ahead, because there's just no restriction. It's, you can post something and anybody in the world with the device and connectivity can see that thing. And so for the people that are on the internet now, it's so much easier. However, with something like Instagram, there's also a whole lot more of it. And so you have to get better, like what you're doing right now, Mo. You have to get better. You have to do things like this, and then you can stand out, because there's just a lot more white noise out there. And so again, I go back to the digital magazine, and Sarah knows about this because she publishes one. And so, with a digital magazine, it's still a magazine. You still have that platform that gives you a different context than just another Instagram post. It's something more significant. And the difference is that a lot more people see it than ever would on print, if that answers their...
Well, it certainly does.
I don't see it as a negative.
No, not at all. But, there is something to be said. And, I guess I'm looking at some of the comments here, and we've got some people saying they like to hold the magazine, and they like to, there was something very special about back in the day when digital wasn't available like it is now, where you waited for that magazine to come in, you waited to see what happened with the shows, or who made the cover, or, who's got a good workout interview or workout, program to start doing. It was, there was something very special about getting that magazine. And I mean, there was fans that used to bring the magazines and want me to sign every magazine every year. They'd collect all of them. And, that piece, I think, is really sad that piece is lost in the shuffle. I understand the whole distribution, but there's something very special about that particular thing. And I'm just seeing some of the comments that people are saying kind of the same thing here on the show.
I agree.
Like, I was one of the first, I knew the date that Oxygen came out, and I was, over at Fry's because that was the best place to get it. And, I knew the day, I knew the time of day, and, I had boxes and boxes of magazines. I was just talking with Elaine the other day, and, because she's back in Vegas now living, and so she's in her storage unit. She's got boxes of magazines.
Right.
I still miss that. And I look at the ones that, I had with stuff in it, and there was quite a few of them, and it's a time capsule thing, right? You can't replace that with digital. What I'm talking about like from a business perspective, or a branding perspective, but there's nothing compares to those days and those print magazines. And I'd love to see them come back. And that's the thing. At this point, I don't know. I don't know that I would do something like that now. Maybe I would, but I think you can do both. I believe that you can do both. And that's the problem, is that in the publishing world, it was always seen as you have to do one or the other. And the internet was always seen as the bad guy. And it's always where you put like your second rate stuff. And I disagree. I think print still would be a successful business model. It just, you can't continue doing it the way you used to.
Well, you absolutely can do both. And the magazine that I publish actually is both. So it's kind of cool in the sense that you can go online and see it, and then you can also have a print version. It's just mailed to you. You just can't get it at the store like you used to be able to walk into the grocery store, pick it up off a shelf, and there I am, and then the checkout lady's like, oh, is that really you, So those pieces of it, it's very sad that is gone. But rolling with technology and rolling with how things are, I mean, you can do both. And not the same.
I agree.
It's different.
And the way you're doing it is the way to do it. You like distributors will bankrupt you because that's just how they have complete control over everything. They tell you how many units you've sold. They pay you for how many units they tell you they sold. And so the distributors will kill you. When I had my print magazine, I did it the way you're doing it, and it's a way better way to do it because there's, ecologically, there's far less waste. Because, it's just, I mean, when we were
not killing trees.
Right, and the thing of it is just understand that, even on a magazine that's got good sell-through, it's still not even close to 50%. 30% is really good sell-through. So 70% of the magazines you print are getting tossed afterwards.
Exactly.
And so going in that model you're talking about, Sarah, I mean, it's something to consider. But I think that's the way I would do it. It's a thing that you buy. You've got people that are going to want to hold in their hand, and you print. You can actually print specifically a certain number, so there's very little waste. And you can do both, and I think you can definitely do both. The thing with the digital magazine is, like, for an advertiser, you can place an ad in there, and you can actually shop and purchase something from that ad inside of a digital magazine. You can't do that on print, but there's so much stuff you can do with print that you can't do with a digital magazine either. Right. And one of them is, the articles. They're really hard to read because most people, over 90% of people, will read that digital magazine on an iPhone or on a handheld device, and it's just not the same experience as holding it.
Same when it's created, when you're creating the story and you're creating it on a big, beautiful screen, like that's how you want people to interpret what your creation is.
Right.
And so if it's like, I know my eyes are going bad. I don't know about you, man, but my eyes are like, I need to get some LASIK surgery or something. So I can't, it just doesn't feel the same, that the story doesn't resonate the same way if I read it on my phone. It just doesn't. So that's why I offer a print version where it's a tangible thing. You can feel it. The paper's amazing. You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, cool. If you just want to read it online, it's there too.
Right. And I think that's the way to do it. Honestly, I think that's a really smart way to do it. So, I might get there at some point. I just published the first issue on this magazine. This is my 4th magazine now. But this one, and the crazy thing is, like, I shoot the pictures, I write the stories. I'm the webmaster. I lay the magazine out. I literally do every stage of it, right? And on top of that, I've got a coffee company. On top of that, we have Blessed Bodywear, and we've got 4 kids to raise. And so it's just, it gets pretty crazy over here. So I won't be doing a print magazine anytime soon, but it's something I would definitely consider because I think that's the way to do it, is just to take advantage of as many platforms as you can, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. So with that in mind, because I want to come back after the short break here and talk about where you are right now with the family situation, because it's a very special story I want to touch on. And we only have so much time tonight, which is very sad. But before we go to break, I want to do our rapid fire questions. So, Terry, you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Fire away, baby.
I don't know what they are.
Okay, best thing about being married to Miss Anna.
Is that question for me?
Yes!
The best thing about being married to Anna is she puts all the color in our life. I'm a very structured, organized, kind of a ex-cop military thinking guy. Anna is very much spontaneous, and she makes everything fun and awesome and tastes good and just couldn't be better.
And she's not bad to look at, so there you go. All right. And I know you're being very polite, so thank you. If your dogs could talk, what would be the last comment they would have made today to you?
I'm hungry.
All dogs, right? Okay. What were the last 3 apps that you used before we got on this interview?
Last 3 apps: Instagram, Facebook, and my to-do list.
Okay. If you had one, which I'm sure you don't because you're so healthy, what would be your favorite binge food?
Favorite binge food, I think, is anything baked, like fresh bread, cookies. My grandma used to bake. I love baking.
Fresh bread with some melted butter.
Pie.
Okay. Pie. Okay. How often do you shave your head, Terry?
Every other day. Every day.
Every day.
Take her right down to the wood.
Okay. Okay. If you drink wine, which I might know the answer because we did share a bottle of wine or two the last time I was there. If you had to drink vino, red, white, or rosé?
I'd probably go with red.
Yes, I thought so. Do you remember that last couple bottles we shared back then?
Yes.
When yes. Okay.
Wine guy.
Yeah. Okay. Best exercise for women's glutes.
A hip thrust, but I've got a modification that I like to use.
Oh, okay. You want to tell, or do you want to save it for?
What it is, it's a pelvic tilt rather than a drop and push up. It's just it's a pelvic tilt.
Yep. Okay, that's me too. Pull the hips up in front. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Best exercise for men's chest.
For me, it's believe it or not, it's push-ups.
Okay, I like that. How about the best thing living in the United States?
I would say freedom. But because of quarantine.
And then he laughs.
Yeah, I would say what it is opportunity. You can literally do anything you want here and be successful at it if you work hard and you do it right.
Exactly. And last question, how sad. We need more questions. I love it. If you had to give Vegas a one-word description, what would that word be?
Crazy.
All right, guys, we are going to go for about a 2-minute quick break. If you need to get up and go to the bathroom, get a drink of water or red wine and toast Terry, do that, but be really quick and come right back. Don't leave us hanging, and we'll be right back with Mr. Terry and some more good stuff.
Hey guys, we're super excited to be here at the LA Fit Expo. It's our 3rd year in a row. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be launching the Tasty Pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs. And we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Hi, welcome to my vlog. I'm Terry Goodlad. This is my wife Anna Tigray, and we live in Las Vegas, where we raise our 3 amazing little toddlers and 2 fluffy white dogs. I'm a photographer, writer, videographer, vlogger, and I like hanging out with my close friends, riding my Harley, and being outside and staying in shape so I can truly live life with the incredible family and God who blessed me with. I love taking beautiful pictures, traveling, and telling stories about special moments with interesting people, interesting places, and things. So this is my vlog of our life. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, we're back. I hope everyone made it back that might have taken off. Nice to see you both again. It's been so long. So I was just kind of looking at some of the messages here. John Butler's on. I don't know, Terry, did you get to meet John Butler ever? He was with Muscle Mag back in the day.
I know of him, but I don't recall if we've ever actually, if we did meet, it would have been brief.
Okay.
But I remember as a fan, I remember him very well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he's been joining us the last few weeks. It's awesome. Hi, John. Nice to have you back. And Sarah, he said it's nice to see you on here too.
Good to see you too, huh?
And Sunny, thank you so much for your sweet message about me and Ronnie and BSN. Yeah, that was fun. I got my own contract there with BSN. That's a whole nother fun story. But anyway, so we want to talk more about Terry, and I want to hear what's going on right now in your world at your house, because it sounds like there's a lot. And there's a cute little ruff. Is that Wrigley or your dog?
That is, yeah. Somebody came home, so the dog's barking. So
that's awesome.
Basically, well, and Anna's to blame for all of this. She 4 years ago, he wanted to have kids, right? And so I've, years ago got snipped, so that wasn't going to happen. I'm just going to take the dog out, so bear with me here.
Sure.
And so that wasn't going to happen. So anyway, she always wanted to adopt, and I was fine with adopting. And so we ended up going through the licensing process here in Clark County in Nevada, and we became foster parents. And I fought it every step of the way because I'm an old man and I, want to start raising kids, right? And of course, Anna, who is completely in charge of everything in our household, just very gently coerced me into doing this thing. And anyway, it was the licensing process. Truthfully, and full disclosure here, because of what I had been through when I was a kid, the licensing process, what you learn about is every kid that comes into care has been traumatized. And so I learned about those traumas, and you study it deeply, and you role play, and you do all these things. And it was actually very therapeutic for me. And when it's all over, I said, well, I'm still not sure I want to be a foster parent. But we went ahead and we took placement of a little boy in January of 2017, I think, something like that, 2016 or 17. And so he was 4.5 months old. Both of his parents were incarcerated at the time. One was incarcerated, mom was incarcerated, dad was on the run. They had been arrested. I won't go into too many more details there, but anyway, so this little boy came to live with us, and we raised him, and you go through the whole thing, and I won't get too much into that because it's a lot of detail. But long story short, here we are 4 years later. He's about to have his 4th birthday. He's still living with us. His biological mother is still living with us, or is with us, and we are adopting her on this coming Monday. She's 33 years old, and now Crystal was born into the gang life. She was born into a Crip family. Her mom right now is serving time for attempt murder. Mom's done a bit for homicide as well. Crystal, through our interactions and the time we spent with her, because every week once she got out of jail, she visits her son, and of course we're there and we're part of that visit and that process. And we developed a relationship over time, and I ended up being Crystal's dad. Okay.
So crazy.
Because she never had a dad. And so long story short, at one point she decided to walk away from the lifestyle. That came with death threats, at least one attempt. And so that's kind of what we've been through. Sorry. That's kind of what we've been through with that. But where we are on the other side now, just to give you an idea, Crystal got her GED, and then she went to school to become a phlebotomist and a medical assistant. She graduated in January of this year.
Wow, I love it.
She graduated in January of this year, and that's when COVID started, so she couldn't get a job in her chosen profession. And so rather than just sit and languish, she is working on now. She just enrolled and she's taking her criminal justice degree.
What?
And yeah. And so that's our Crystal. Now we've also got other kids. I'm
sorry. hang on one second, because you mentioned that Crystal's your daughter, and I get like, that is really special, and I know that God brings people together, but phlebotomist, medical, and now criminal. I mean, so she is really taking after you.
Well, she
like with all of these things that she is interested in and actually probably can do. She really is taking after you. How cool is that?
Yeah, and I suppose so. I hadn't thought of it that way, but I guess you're right. She and I are really close. Like, we're very, very close. We've, obviously I'm not African American. She is, but
obviously,
and I'm not a woman.
No,
not today anyway.
But yeah, exactly. That'll be the next show.
Right.
Oh.
But she's, we've got a lot of similarities in the way we grew up. And so there were some common denominators there, and I was able to turn my life into something other. And so she saw the possibilities and she went for it. And honestly, I give her all the credit for it, because she had to make those choices.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a hardcore, thugging. She's been thugging since she was 14, and then there's me, and somehow we made this work, and the love we have between us is like, she is my daughter. We're just making it legal next week, that's all, but she's my daughter and I'm her dad, and that's our relationship. She, with everything going on right now in the world, all of the racial tension and like that, she approached me the other day and she wants to start a business, and so she's started a business that, and without giving away too much, but it's going to be t-shirts and a podcast. And she wants to educate people about history, Black history, white history.
Okay.
And with the purpose of bringing people together rather than dividing.
Yes.
See, I like this, Terry, and it's like, she was thugging and you are a former SWAT cop.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances of this actually coming together? Like, God is so good. He literally was like, wait, you guys are completely opposite end of the spectrum. I'm just going to make it so that, not only are you related, but you're father and daughter. This is amazing.
It's crazy. And the funny thing is, like, the first day I met her, Anna was doing all the visitations, and then she went to the second one, and I just felt like God was talking to me and saying, Terry, you need to take these over. And I'm like, oh man, because that's not my responsibility, right? And so I called her and I said, Anna, I think I'm supposed to take these over. And she says, yeah, God's telling me the same thing. So the next visit I went and did, and I walk in and understand this is kind of an institutional setting where, the biological parents enter at one entrance, the foster parents enter at another. There's a visiting area that's supervised in the center. And, I just went up and told her, oh my gosh, Crystal, it's nice to meet you. Put my arms around her and told her how beautiful she was and like that. And she's like, get this white guy off me, right? And that was kind of how it started. And like now a day without Crystal, sad day for me, But yeah, and so we're here, and she focused on she really knows that God is calling her to do something great in her life, and she's going to be a great leader, because that's just Crystal. And she's already influenced her siblings, and they're doing more with their life. Her mom is completely behind the adoption and like that. She, it's just really, really a beautiful thing. And then of course her son is here, and he calls me dad and Anna mom, and we're just a big family. And then as well, we have Katie and Emma, two little girls that we just adopted here a couple months ago that have been with us for a while. And then recently we got a call, and I told Anna, I says, Anna, and again, this is all God, because we were going to close our license, but God has been telling Anna there's going to be one more child. It was even down to, like, we were talking about it a while ago, and she's okay, if we get a child, or we had a child, what would you want to name him? Because she was thinking a baby, and I wanted the name Cole, and because I just really felt that was the name. Well, this little boy comes to us, and his name is Cole.
Stop it.
And, yeah.
What?
Yeah. He's a little boy, Cole. And here's the crazy thing. When he came to us, the worker that was in charge of Cole, his worker, already had a family picked out for him. but her boss, who is a Christian lady, her supervisor said, I want you to interview these people, the Goodlads, about this little boy. And she was just doing what her boss told her to do, but she didn't have any intention of placing the child with us. She was going to place him with this other family she had chosen. And so during the interview, we did the interview, and it was very straightforward, you know. And then she called back 45 minutes later, this worker, she's crying her eyes out, and she says, listen, I'm a Christian, and God is telling me that this is your son. And excuse me.
Oh my goodness, Terry.
So she brought him over, and they walked in the door, and this little guy wanted me to hold him. And he it's funny because he called me mommy. but that was it. And he wouldn't let me put him down. He was just like, he's just glued. That's my little boy, you know. And he's been a part of the family from day one. There really was no adjustment period. And that anybody that's got anything to do with foster kids knows that there's always that adjustment period. And there wasn't one. He was just part of our family from day one. So, and we are about 3 months away now. There's a 6-month period you have to wait. But we're 3 months away, and we will adopt Cole. So we'll adopt Crystal, Cole, Katie, Emma, and then Quamaine is here because he's part of the family. And so that's our family. So I've got 5 kids here from 1 to 33. And I'm working like a mad fool to feed everybody.
Bless your heart, Terry. Bless your heart, man. You are a very, very, very special human being.
Thanks.
Oh, seriously. It's like the heart my heart is so open for your story, and I've been watching and checking up on you and everything, and it's just absolutely beautiful to see everything that's going on. It's like an organized circus of love, and it warms my heart to see it.
Organized chaos.
It's definitely a circus. It's you know, the thing of it is it's all about obedience, because understand, and I'm very honest, I fought this every step of the way, because I'm 61. Understand, I'm going to be fighting teenagers at 70 or 75. You know what I mean? And chasing prospective suitors away with my shotgun at the door at 75, right? Because you know, because these little girls both take after Anna, so it's just scary. Anyway, Anna's house clothes, you guys, is a thong and a tank top with no bra that's kind of worn and see-through. That's Anna's running around the house clothes. Right. And so anyway, but
well, she's Brazilian. I mean, you know.
I'm not complaining. I'm not hating, okay?
I love it. I remember when I was there last and we were shooting, I guess that was 2016. What I'm thinking of when I was there. No, it wasn't. It was just last year. I'm thinking of last year.
You guys came, yeah.
Right. So we were there, and I was staying at the house. I'm thinking, when did I come? And we were, because we were going to do the posing at the gym with some of the girls from the show. Remember the show in last August?
That was last summer, yeah.
Yes, and I just remember the older one. Is that Emma? Katie. And she had so many awesome questions. And you were like, don't answer, because she won't stop asking these questions. And they were like big questions. And I was laughing. And I remember sitting in the front seat with you, and you're like, don't answer, because there's just going to be like 50 more coming right out. And you were trying to tell her that I was, on my phone or something, because I was trying to answer something on the phone. And I was giggling because I know you were trying to be a good dad, and you're trying to make sure she wasn't taking over the whole conversation. But she was like, she's taking after you too, because she had some really great questions.
Well, Katie's got a lot to say. Katie is like really super intelligent, really super creative. She's a little artist, but she's the cruise director here. So she's got the whole day worked out for all the kids and what they're doing and what we're watching and how it's going to happen, and which creates friction, but they all follow her. She's the Pied Piper, right? She's the big sister, and yeah, it's actually pretty cool, and you see these kids grow. All of these kids come into your life with trauma at some level, and the girls have been through the most, and it's a pretty horrific story. And you see them, like I remember the first time Emma stood up for herself, and fought back when somebody tried to bully her. I remember the first day she had a tantrum, and Anna and I almost cried because it's the first time that was part of her development.
Okay.
Seeing them get past those issues, and it's so much work. And Anna gets all the credit because she's with them 24/7. That's, and I'm here doing what I do. And then when I get time, I spend time with the family. But Anna's responsibility is those kids and their development. She's homeschooling them all. That starts next week. And she's just like literally super mom, and still super sexy and modeling for me and cooking for us all and doing everything.
I just love her. I love her, and it's so fun that I had such a great relationship with her and with you, and then you guys came together, and now I get to see you both at the same time when I see you guys. So
that's kind of crazy because you knew Anna long before I knew Anna.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah. I was coaching her in Austin. Yeah.
Yeah. And you helped her like you helped me with my career. You helped her with her business when she first started designing fitness wear as well. So
yeah. And I still have some of those pieces of clothing.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes. They still are viable. I can still wear them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I think what we need to do is I want to just say hi to Donnice. My sweet friend Donnice is here. Donnice, thanks for joining, and she's complimenting you. And Crystal, Terry, she's a good friend of mine here in town or in this area of Texas, and we work together. So we go way back. And then Kathy and Claudia and Kyle and Gary, everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. So I think what we need to do, because I know that we three could sit here and have another hour conversation. And and what happens for me, Terry, is all these fun thoughts that keep going through my mind. I want to go, remember when. Like the last time I was at your house and your wife closed the bedroom door and said, basically, don't come out till y'all are done. Like, we were what were we talking about? Photos, and we were doing this podcast, and it was just this kind of goofy thing. And she locked us in with dogs, and was like, or she took the dogs out, and then she was like, "Y'all don't come out till you're done." And we were just laughing. I'm like, but Terry, you're like my big brother, and it's just so fun to always be around you, and it's such a joy and honor, even though we're not in the same location, on the phone here or whatever, the computer. Like, it's such a joy to be in your presence, and I just adore you and love what you're doing and who you are. And like Sarah said, you're a very, very special human. I'm going to use your words there, Sarah, but I want to kind of wrap this up so that people can get back to their other pieces of life and their families. And I think what we need to do in the future, I do want to have an interview with just Anna, because she has an amazing story herself. And then I want to bring you and Crystal back at some point down the road, where when she's got, her podcast up and running and all the things that she wants to do, I'd love to have her on and be able to share her and her story and you guys together and what she's doing, because I think it's going to be a very important interview for us to have in the future. So,
Crystal is very open about her life, open about the things that she's done.
Awesome.
Very open. She's very, very soft-spoken. This is a woman that she and I were talking about this last night. Can be very, very dangerous, but has got the biggest heart. Is very thoughtful, very intelligent. Didn't realize she was as smart as she is. But yeah, she's a fascinating person to talk to. So is Anna as well. I mean, they're both.
Oh no, right?
Yeah, I'm so blessed over here, man.
Blessed. Oh.
No, I am. I mean, I'm so blessed to have these. These are the people.
You want to talk about blessed body wear?
The shameless plug.
Shameless plug. So Terry, why don't you do this? Will you share with everybody how they can get hold of you and what all the social media pieces that you have, so people can find you? Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I almost forgot. Before you start doing that, I have to announce our winners chicken dinners, and for our questions tonight. So the same person won both of them.
Who is it?
And he's been one of our regulars coming on. It's Mr. Ruben.
Ruben, you won.
Ruben.
Ruben is, so Ruben won, he got Body Sport correct. Your first magazine ever, Body Sport. The one that I was supposed to have to sleep with the owner to get on the cover. And so I never slept with you, so I never got on the cover.
No, we never slept a wink.
Nope, never slept a wink. And oh my gosh. Okay, and then the second, your current blog website is the Goodlad Unscripted, and he got both of them right. So past and current, and obviously he follows you, Terry. Yes, you have big fans. You have fans. Well, I want to just, if you could please share how people can find you and what you have to offer anyone that's interested in working with you, and then we'll let you go, and Sarah and I can wrap up the show off that.
Yeah, Goodlad Unscripted is my website. That's kind of, my platform where everything starts. There's, other things that I do, but Goodlad Unscripted. I'll give you my email as well if you want to reach out to me. It's tgoodlad@me.com. Right now I'm not doing a lot of extra shooting, but that's going to change probably in a couple weeks here once I get things ironed out. But I'm always interested in really good, interesting stories. People that have got something that's going to be inspiring or anything like that. And of course, always it's just great to connect with other people like Ruben, I mean, talk about photography or anything. Like I'm really open to all that kind of stuff. I like to do that.
I love it. I love it. Well, Ruben may be reaching out to you, and Ruben and his family are going to be shooting with Sarah and I in a couple weeks.
Perfect.
So here in Texas, yes, we get to work with him and his family, create some beautiful family portraits and family memories. So excited about that.
Terry, Sarah will kill that. She's very blessed, Ruben.
I know Sarah's awesome. She's
love Sarah's work. Love Sarah.
Well, Terry, I'm so excited to get to talk to you. Sarah, do you have anything you want to add before we let Terry off?
Mo, you've been the hugest blessing in my life. You're my friend. I mean, it sounds like a mutual admiration society here, but it's from the heart. And it's just you do so much for so many people, and you've started to launch so many careers and given people opportunities that they would not have otherwise. And you've just been a massive blessing in everybody's life. And I'm so proud of you. We've been talking about this podcast thing for how long? A couple of years, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I think, and just seeing you do it and getting it going and how you're doing it, and you're really going to move the needle on people's lives. You're doing good things, and I can really see God working through. He's always worked through everything you've ever done, but this is just another thing. And I think it's just so cool that you're doing this,
I agree, Terry. I think that Monica has found her niche. She's found one of the niches, actually, in her life that's perfect for her. And I'm just very blessed to be her friend now. And really since 2011, we've known each other.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, doing cool projects and being her friend and her wanting me to be involved. Just like, yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't I? You're amazing,
Yeah. There's many ways to do God's work, and this is what He's called you to do, Mo. And
yes.
You did that whole thing being an athlete, but now, this is the perfect thing for you to be doing is just connecting with people like this, So very, very proud of you, sweetheart.
Thank you so much. God gave me a word this year, and it didn't come in the beginning of the year, but it came maybe about a month or so ago. And every year I like to think about one word that I feel God has placed on my heart that has importance for that year. And I feel like this year really the word is investing, and investing in others is where that's going. So it's maybe two words, but it's not investing in myself. It's investing in others' lives. And I heard that recently from this woman who was a Princeton professor, and she was a beautiful Black older woman. And she was talking about the current state of America and what's going on with all of this stuff. And I loved how she talked. She was a Christian woman. She was conservative, and she had such a beautiful message. And she was so well-spoken. Well, she's a Princeton professor. And I just loved it. And she talked about it, investing in other people's lives. And I just was like, that's my word. And that's what I feel I'm supposed to be doing. And so thank you for joining me on the show here and always giving me your undivided attention whenever I need it. You've always been so generous with your time when you have so many people pulling you in every direction. I just love you lots and lots and lots. Give Anna and Crystal and the kids big hugs from me. I can't wait to meet Crystal in person someday.
And can you hear them banging, trying to get in the door here?
I know.
I locked myself in the bedroom. They just got home, and they're all trying to get in the door. And they're yelling at me.
Can you let them in so we can see their cute faces before we let you go?
Yes, I sure will. Hang on.
You have to see the squad, the Goodlad squad.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Say hello to Miss Monica.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi, Jesse. Hi, Emma. Hi, Kate. Hi, hello.
The noise level doesn't go down till. Just so you know.
Oh, good.
It's pretty much
That's perfect for you. Hey, you always needed a bunch of activity to keep your mind going, so this is perfect for you.
Yeah, keeping me young. I know I gotta live till at least 100. So I'm doing all the right, eating right, working out, doing all the right things. So
I love it, Terry. I love you so much. Give your family big hugs, and we're gonna let you go. And Sarah and you can close out the show here in a minute.
Love you, girls. Take care. And Sarah, it's really, really good to see you. And
You
say hi
too.
to Brad. Say hi to Brad and Kona.
Will do. Good night, Terry.
Good night, honey. Bye-bye.
Bye. Aw. Oh my gosh.
So awesome. Like he just, seriously, my whole insides are warm.
I know, right? I know.
It's not good at 110 outside.
I'm sure your air conditioner's on. Oh my gosh, that's such, every time I talk to Terry, he inspires me and he gives me so much enthusiasm for life. And I just, whether it's on the Zoom or calls or whatever, or it's, in person. And I'm so thankful to have that chance to visit with him and honor him too with what he's doing. God's called a mighty man there.
Well, thank you for asking me to be on this show with him, especially. It's
right?
just really good to have that reconnection too. He's amazing.
You're so welcome. And just moving forward, everybody, we're going to be bringing on, I say we, because Sarah's going to be co-hosting these particular shows when we bring on other photographers and publishers. And we have a lot of industry powerhouses that we want to bring on and talk to with similar kind of format here. So I'm excited for the next. We'll probably be trying to do one a month with photographer / publisher type person. Yeah. So without further ado, we probably should be closing up. I just thank you everyone again for joining tonight. I just want to make sure you guys remember I am still hosting my live workouts on Wednesday night and Saturday morning. They are body weight only, so no equipment needed. I've been hosting every Wednesday and Saturday since March, I think. And I don't know, I feel super strong now because I'm hosting them, coaching them, and participating in them. But just in case you guys are interested, you can email info@monicabrandtfit.com and I can get you registered. They're only $15, so it's not like going to break the piggy bank to join me in a workout. And then Sarah, you and I are going to be together in a couple weeks for the Epic Destination Texas shoots. Yay!
Like the first time on an airplane in, wow, since I saw you last in February.
Oh, well, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I just flew in and out of Georgia a week ago or whatever, so it'll be good. And we'll grab you up quickly out of the airport, and can't wait to have you here. If anyone is interested in Epic Destination Shoot, you can go to epicdestinationshoot.com and you can see what we're doing. But we are providing epic photo shoot opportunities for anyone that's interested. We've got a handful of shoots already planned, and some will be for Bodyscape magazine. Yay. Yeah. And anything. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sarah. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I said just big shoots going on there. It's not just a shoot, but it's magazine specific, and it's just everything.
It's going to be an adventure and an experience of a lifetime. Yay! 100%. All right. Well, Thank you guys so much. Thank you to our awesome sponsors. Ruben, I know how to get hold of you. We're going to get you your goodies since you won. You're going to be a regular here winning all the products.
Give them to him in person when we see him.
Well, they have to be shipped, right? So if they ship them here. But, that's a great idea. Maybe they can ship them here. You're right.
That's great. And then we could, take a photo of it and then.
Yeah, let's do that. We can do some videos. That'll be super fun. Okay, Ruben, that's the plan, okay? Okay, guys. So, again, next week, be back here on Tuesday again next week. Who's on Tuesday next week? I'm spacing out right now. Oh, my gosh. I'm spacing out. It doesn't matter. We have a great guest next week and a great guest the next few months. I'm so excited. I've been lining up amazing guests all the way through October right now. I've got my guests lined up for every Tuesday night. So you guys jump back in next Tuesday and thank you guys so much. From the bottom of my heart, spending this time with us. Much love to you guys. Stay fit, love life, and live radiantly. And Sarah, let's close this puppy out.
Let's do this. Thanks, guys, for watching.
This has been a Kona Cam production. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.